Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, as you can see, I have three different devices on the table showing the Mac OS desktop, and that's not because they are running Mac OS natively, but rather they are wirelessly streaming my MacBook Pro's desktop directly onto their screens, all thanks to this $80 wireless HDMI streaming dongle that we have right here. This is the AURGA Viewer, which is a wireless HDMI dongle that I have owned for months, and I wanted to do this video for a while already because it's just such a useful tool that I want to make sure that it works well for me before I talk to you guys about it. So here's what the AURGA Viewer is all about and how it works for me. Now, one of the reasons that I spent $80 on the AURGA Viewer is because it is the only wireless HDMI streaming device that is able to mirror my computer or gaming console screen onto an Android tablet or iPad or even a smartphone. So it's not every time that I have an external monitor and all that, and if I were to buy those wireless HDMI devices, those usually come with a transceiver and receiver, and on the receiving end, you will need a monitor as well, an HDMI monitor for instance. So it just doesn't work for me because I have my tablets and smartphones most of the time. So I thought, why not I get this device and wirelessly stream my computer screen or my gaming console screen onto any of these devices that I have. I mean, they are pretty good screens. This is the Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra, which has a beautiful 14-inch AMOLED display. So yeah, it has really worked for me over the past few months. And this is how the device looks like. It is just a very simple looking stick that looks like a TV stick that you plug it onto the back on your TV. So you get a USB-C connector here for power, but at the same time, you can also have input onto the device, and because this USB-C port here also serves as an input port. So let's say if you were to connect to your MacBook Pro, for instance, you need to use the provided USB-A to C cable and plug it into one of your available ports on your laptop or MacBook Pro. So let me show you guys on how it works. And as you see earlier on, I've actually mirrored to 3 devices. It can actually support up to a couple of devices, but that's not something I would recommend because it runs on wireless technology. There's bound to be some latency that's happening, and let me show you guys right now. Now, there's 2 ways to get connected to the AURGA Viewer. Now, the first one would be to connect directly to the device's built-in Wi-Fi connection, and the second method would be to have the device connect to your home's Wi-Fi router. Now, personally, I would prefer to have the device connect to my Wi-Fi router as I trust the signal of my Wi-Fi router more and I can roam freely around my home without getting disconnected. So this is how the app looks like. It looks pretty simple. So once you have it powered on and all that, it will immediately show the HDMI device that you're mirroring on the top right here. Now on this interface, you even get some instructions here on how to interact with the AURGA Viewer because like I mentioned before, it can actually serve as an input device, which is actually really cool. Now let's head on over to the device tab here because this is what I want to show you. Now the first step, of course, if you are using the AURGA Viewer for the first time, you will of course have to connect to the device's built-in Wi-Fi connection, and this is where you set it up for the first time, and I recommend that you use a smartphone to do so. So the first step, of course, is to connect to the AURGA Viewer, which we have already done so, and the second step is that you can connect to your Wi-Fi router, which is why you have this connect to internet right here, and you get to select a list of Wi-Fi hotspots that you can get connected to. So after that, if you go back here, you can even set your device name and security in this setting here. Now, this is actually a really nice feature because by default, the AURGA Viewer's default built-in Wi-Fi connection is not secured at all, so anyone could just connect to it and see what you are actually seeing. So this is actually really useful. And finally, we have this USB HID mode. So that's basically USB 1.1 and 2.0. And as you can see, it says that if you're using a touchscreen, it would recommend that you will stay on USB 2.0. Otherwise, if you're just using a keyboard or mouse, just use USB 1.1 and you will be able to send input to any devices that you are connected to. And that's pretty much on the AURGA Viewer app. As you can see, it's really nice. It fits my iPhone screen really well. As you can see, even on this VivoBook S15 here, it actually fits quite nice as well. So next, let's find out the latency performance because I think that is something that you might be concerned about because since it is a wireless device, there's bound to be some latency and all that you would want to know. So the Orga Viewer outputs a resolution of 1920 by 1080 pixels at 60 Hz, and it is the reason why macOS is able to fill up my entire screen, even though it is mirrored from the MacBook Pro, because the MacBook Pro has a totally different aspect ratio, and I have to set it as the main display here in order to get it fit on this full screen. Now, let's find out the latency performance, shall we? So as you can see, this is how the mouse moves. There's definitely a bit of lag that you can detect it, but it's just so minimal and it's really impressive. So I'm just going to head on to YouTube and play a video. Now, as you can see, it's pretty fast, and we are just going to watch a video from our channel. So let's watch the Huawei Pura 70 Pro review that I did recently. So as you can see, the Orga Viewer outputs sound wirelessly to any devices. Like, you can hear that it sounds really nice. So yeah, there you go. This is how good the latency is. As you can see, the lag is actually pretty minimal. It's definitely noticeable, but it's not the annoying kind of lag that you experience on some wireless streaming devices. And I have to say that they did a pretty solid job there. Next, let's do a bit of gaming on the Orga Viewer. So I have my Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra connected to the Orga Viewer on the PS5. So as you can see, it is actually pretty good, though there's still a little bit of jitters and lags over there, but it's something that you kind of have to expect on a wireless connection. But I have to say that the input lag is just so minimal from my PS5 controller that I have to say that it is super impressive of what I'm seeing here. So yeah, the Orga Viewer is definitely a really nice wireless HDMI streaming device that you can totally count on if you really want to wirelessly stream your HDMI device's screen to an Android tablet or an iPad. So that sums up my thoughts on the Orga Viewer, and if you would like to purchase one, definitely head to the links in the description and the pinned comment down below to get one. It is currently on sale for $79 US, and if you get the twin pack, it costs about $149 US, which I think is actually pretty reasonable as compared to some other wireless HDMI streaming devices on the market. So yeah, that's all for today's video. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos, and I'll see you in the next one.